on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. Well, guys, the price of everything is going up. Like you need me to tell you that, no doubt you already know, if you do any shopping at all. If you're a teenager living in your parents' basement and don't do any shopping, then you might not know. However, if you're out in the world and you're actually trying to make a living and you're having to buy things, you're having to keep yourself fed, clothed, housed, cooled, heated, gasoline in your automobile, then you know that the price on everything is going up. As an example, I stopped yesterday at the grocery store and I was going to pick up a gallon of milk. And I went in and they were out of gallons of milk. All they had was the half gallons. And the half gallon price was just about $4. And that was the price 6 months ago for the gallon of the same brand. This morning, I stopped at Tractor Supply to pick up another metal trash can to put more chicken feed in. And I go in, I'm like, and I go into Tractor Supply and walk back there to where the trash cans are at, and I looked, and that metal trash can was $44 and so much change. And I think $44.94, something like that. So essentially $45, not including tax. And I'd bought one at the same Tractor Supply about 6 months ago, and I'm not 100% sure about the price exactly, but I think it was $27 at Tractor Supply. It could have been $37, I think it was $27. But I definitely know that the price has went up at least $10, maybe $20 on those metal trash cans. And everything you check on, if you kept track of the prices go up about 10%, it seems, every 6 months. And the federal government's telling us that inflation is at 9.something%, I think it was the last time I checked. There's so much bull crap coming out of the federal government that's broadcast to the mainstream media that it's difficult to keep track of what they're saying. And I don't really care what they're saying, because I know just about everything they say is complete lies, manipulations, and made up numbers. But it seems to me that about 10% increase in price on most things, some things are more than that, every 6 months. But let's just take and say 10% increase every 12 months. And let's say this keeps on every 12 months. Actually about 20%, but let's just bring it down to 10%. If that keeps up, and it seems that it's going to, are you going to be able to afford to live? Are you going to be able to afford to put food on the table, to heat your home this winter, to keep gasoline in your automobile, to keep clothing on your back, shoes on your children's feet, socks, all the things you need? If this inflation keeps increasing by 10% every 6 months to 10% every year, we all know it's actually more than that. Are you going to be able to afford to survive? And the answer is, most people, the standard of living for most people, actually everyone unless you're super wealthy, is going to go way down. So prepare to be in poverty. Poverty here in Appalachia used to be really bad. A lot of people had no running water, no electricity, and things like that. Lived in shacks that were falling in, drove vehicles that were 20 years plus old, and people were poor. However, here in the last 20 years or so, we've seen more people getting on the draw, more people drawing government checks. So people's standard of living has went up because they're essentially living off the federal government. What if that stops? And it's going to. Or what if the increases don't meet the inflation? I saw this morning, I was up at my mom's house talking to her. They were talking on the local news that Social Security was going to increase, I think next year, by about $100 for most people, depending on certain things. Was that $100 a month going to keep up with inflation? No, it's not. So prepare to be much more poor. If you are considered middle class, or was, you're going to be on the poverty line. It's going to be more difficult to make ends meet. And if you take all the things going on right now in the world, and take all that, and eliminate all that, all the war, all the globalist things and everything like that, all the fertilizer, all the shortages, all the fertilizer shortages and price increases, the fuel shortages that we're seeing in different locations around the world. Eliminate all that. Let's look at this inflation. Are you going to be able to make it? Are you going to be able to survive? And if you're already at that poverty level, like a lot of people are, and we're having trouble making ends meet now, what do you think is going to be a year from now? It's going to be much, much more difficult. You will be having to go hungry. You'll be having to turn your heat off in your home to try to bundle up, to try to save money on that heating bill. You'll go to the supermarket and you'll have to buy less food. You'll have to eat less food. Right now, a lot of people are substituting because what they were buying, the prices went up, so they're having to substitute with lower quality foods, and that's going to end because the price increases are going to be across the board because of the inflation, and most people aren't going to be able to eat. You're going to be eating a lot less healthy, a lot less quality foods, and a lower quality of life, a lower standard of living. And I know, you don't want to hear that, don't want to talk about that because it's not something that's fun to think about. However, it is here and it's going to get worse. The inflation isn't going to just go away. The inflation is going to keep on going up every month, every 6 months, every year, because the value of the dollar is going down and it's actually crashing. But we're not talking about completely crashing now, economic collapse. We're not talking about job loss. We're just talking about the inflation. Are you going to be able to make it? Are you going to be able to live at the same standard of living that you're living now? And a lot of people's standard of living right now is very low. And it's going to get even worse. Middle class is going to be living in poverty if you can keep your job. Now, as inflation goes up, people are going to be demanding more, higher pay, higher wages from their employer. So it's like a domino effect. If they have to pay out higher wages to keep up with inflation, they're going to charge more for the product. So it's like a domino effect or a snowball effect. So it's keep getting worse and worse. But do you think that your employer is going to be able to stay in business if they have to keep raising your income by 10, 20% every 12 months continuously? Most likely they will go out of business because depending on the business, depending on what they sell, if it's essential, people have to buy that regardless because, like food, for example, fertilizer to produce food with, fuel to keep warm, to do pretty much everything with. The world is based on fuel consumption, fossil fuels, and fertilizer to produce the food, to produce pretty much everything. And those prices keep going up. That's another reason that we see the price increases. That and inflation, meaning the currency, is getting worth less and less all the time. But I want to know what you've seen when you go to the supermarket. Have you noticed the prices went up? Are you keeping track of, sadly, I've not kept track of the exact prices of most things, but I just go from memory. But if you keep track, if you have saved receipts, look at those, look at the price increase over the last 6 months, year, 2 years, and let us know in the comments below what you're seeing. If everything, just take food for example, electric bills, natural gas bills, the gasoline you put in your automobile, say that goes up 10%, 20% over the next year, and the next year, and the next year. Are you going to be able to make it? Are you having trouble making it financially right now? Now, I see a lot of comments, people posting comments saying that they don't have enough money to buy one of my books. The books are $17.76 is the price on the paperback version of my books. And a lot of people say they don't have the money to buy one of the books, and they probably don't. So if you're having trouble coming up with $17 extra, what do you think it's going to be like if prices keep increasing by 10% every 6 months, 20% every year, or even 10% every year? Are you going to be able to make it? If you're already having that much financial trouble right now, well, these prices keep increasing because of inflation, you're going to be starving. You're going to be homeless. You're going to be sitting at home wrapped in a blanket trying to keep warm because your electricity's been cut off and your natural gas has been cut off. And you can't heat. You can't feed yourself. You're going to be in extreme poverty. And that's what the powers to be actually want, is everyone to be in extreme poverty. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you seeing prices going up? What are you seeing? Are you seeing increases of 10%, 20% on food, on your electricity bills, on essentials? Are you seeing the prices go up? How much? I know they're going up, but how much? Are you seeing those in your area? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. I'm going to Creekmore. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully.